Jinger Dugger jokes she can't remember names of all 39 Duggar grandkids. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. For Duggar family latest news update, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. The Duggars keep counting on, but even daughter Jinger Dugger's memory can't always keep up. I struggle to remember all the names of the grandkids. Jinger, 31, jokingly told her sister Joanna, 27, on the Wednesday, March 19 episode of her Jinger and Jeremy podcast. I have most of them down, but there are a couple, and the newer ones, there are more added all the time. She continued, I feel that pressure like, no one else is putting it on me. It's me because when I go back, I'm like I feel so bad. I didn't get to connect with them. Then, it's like, oh, I guess it makes sense. Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar raised their 19 children in Arkansas, which is where most still live with their own families. Jinger, meanwhile, is one of the few Duggar children to leave the nest, ultimately settling with husband Jeremy Vuolo and their 2 daughters in Los Angeles. Jinger Dugger says her daughters forget half the names of their cousins. We have FaceTime, but I'm not FaceTiming everyone every day. Jinger, who is also pregnant with baby No. 3, explained, I feel like I FaceTime the older sisters the most. I will stay in contact with them more, and James calls a lot. According to Vuolo 37, they have to be very intentional about keeping in touch with relatives. When you have little ones, when you've got work, you've got kids, you've got church, or you've got friends, you have to be very intentional about, hey, where's going to spend time here? And here Vuolo said on Wednesday's episode, just because you live there, there's people here that we live 5 minutes from that we're not going to see and hang out with unless we're like, hey, let's get it on the calendar. Jinger Dugger thinks it's possible some of her siblings will have 19 kids. Vuolo further noted that everybody's doing their own stuff whenever he and Jinger do make it back to visit Arkansas. It is cool to see, and they love hanging out together. But then they do have their communities, he said. Not everybody goes to the same church, and they have their different church communities. And so, when people do come together for a wedding or a meal, it's really fun to catch up and hear what's going on. Joanna feels similarly, noting on Wednesday that she doesn't see the extended family as much as she used to. It is harder to stay connected to everybody, but I feel like we all have a good expectation for everybody. She explained, we don't feel pressure, like, we have to do this together, or I haven't talked to this person this week. I have my own family to take care of, and so it's hard to balance how much do I reach out and how much do I not. I want to spend time with all of the siblings. Joanna and husband Austin Forsyth are parents of 3. Jill Duggar remembers late daughter 1 year after stillbirth. Jill Duggar is remembering her late daughter. Last year, on April 13, 2024, Duggar and her husband, Derek Dillard, made the heartbreaking announcement that she had suffered a stillbirth. Duggar, 33, who was 4 months pregnant at the time, and Dillard shared that they gave their daughter the name Isla Marie. Duggar was due in August 2024. Now, Duggar is looking back at the night they met Isla in a new Instagram post. On this morning 1 year ago, we were prepping for our daughter's delivery after finding out just days before that she had went on to join Jesus in heaven. Duggar began her statement. Derek's mom was caring for our boys, and my mom drove us to the hospital where a couple of my sisters and a friend joined us. We are so grateful for all those not pictured who wrapped their arms and prayers around us and continue to provide us with support as we walk this road nobody ever wants to walk, the former Counting On star continued. Jill Duggar says she has a complicated relationship with her parents, the reality television star then encouraged those who know someone who has suffered a pregnancy or infant loss to send them a quick text to say you're thinking of them and praying for them. In April 2024, Duggar shared photos of herself and Dillard, 36, leaning on each other looking down at a tiny pink knitted hat. From the moment we found out we were pregnant, we couldn't wait to meet our baby. Isla was much loved from the start. and her 3 big brothers were so excited to introduce her to their world, Duggar wrote on Instagram in April 2024. "We appreciate your prayers as we continue to grieve and heal from the loss of our little Isla Marie," she continued at the time. The Dillard family laid their daughter to rest a few days later. Jill Duggar posts heartfelt message to stillborn daughter 1 week after funeral. "Isla Marie, our baby girl. We will love you forever and hold you in our hearts until we hold you in heaven." Laid to rest 4/19/2024. Duggar and Dillard have been married since June 2014. The couple have 3 sons, 10-year-old Israel, 7-year-old Samuel, and 2-year-old Freddie. Joy Anna Duggar says it's hard to keep up with her siblings now that she has a family of her own. With 18 siblings to keep track of, it would be hard for anyone to stay in touch with every member of their family on a regular basis. And now that Joy Anna Duggar has a family of her own, it sounds like she's facing that problem. While appearing on sister Jinger Duggar's The Jinger and Jeremy podcast this week, Joy Anna admitted that it's hard to stay connected to her family, especially compared to the way she once did. Joy opened up about keeping in touch with her siblings. During her chat with Jinger and her husband, Jeremy Vuolo, Joy answered questions that fans had sent in, and one of them was all about where her relationships with her family stand today. Now that she has her own family, including 3 children under the age of 8, whom she homeschools, it seems there is way less time for her to get together with her siblings, especially because she said she lives about 35 minutes from everyone. It's definitely hard to keep up with all the siblings because if we had one sibling over for a week, it would take 19 weeks to get through everybody. That's a lot of time that goes by, she said. She added that about every 6 months, she'll have one of her siblings and their family over, but there's not much time for many other plans. She naturally connects more easily with some of her siblings than other. Whether we go to church together, we'll see them or whatever, and then some of us I'm just really close to a couple of the sisters-in-law, so we see each other quite a bit, and working out together, she said on the podcast. It is harder to stay connected to everybody, but I feel like we all have a good expectation for everybody. We don't feel pressure, like, we have to do this together, or I haven't talked to this person this week. Ultimately, her own nuclear family comes first. Joy added, "I have my own family to take care of, and so it's hard to balance how much do I reach out, and how much do I not. I want to spend time with all of the siblings." In recent years, she and Jinger have only gotten closer. Joy and Jinger have become good friends as they've gotten older, and now they're getting to spend plenty of time together because Joy is temporarily living in California while her husband, Austin Forsyth, is working on a project near Jinger's home base. "We have gotten so much closer than we ever have, and I think some of this is just life that happens. And even though we live further away than we did in our same bedroom, it's different because when you walk through life and you're in the same season of life, there is a sweetness, and there are also trials," Jinger said on the podcast. "You walk through the same trials, and growing up in the same family, there are things that you are experiencing that you can talk about with your sister. As we've gotten older, the age gap has closed." Joy, who is 4 years younger than Jinger, agreed, adding that they really started connecting once they both began having kids. Joy has also created a support system outside of her family. Not seeing her siblings as often as she once did doesn't mean Joy is lonely, though she's made plenty of friends who never shared her last name. "We do have our church family and a lot of close friends now," she said on the podcast. "Now that we've grown our community over the last few years, we don't see the family as much as we used to just cause we're busy, and then we try and safeguard a few days just for us a week." Jill Duggar shares heartbreaking message 1 year after daughter's stillbirth. Nearly 1 year after the stillbirth of Jill Duggar and Derek Dillard's daughter Isla Marie, the 19 Kids and Counting alum shared a reflection on the tragic experience. Jill Duggar honoring her baby girl. Nearly 1 year after the 19 Kids and Counting alum and her husband Derek Dillard shared the stillbirth of their baby Isla Marie Dillard. She reflected on the heartbreaking days that led up to the procedure. On this morning 1 year ago, we were prepping for our daughter's delivery after finding out just days before that she had went on to join Jesus in heaven, Jill wrote in her March 19 Instagram caption. Derek's mom was caring for our boys, and my mom drove us to the hospital where a couple of my sisters and a friend joined us. We are so grateful for all those not pictured who wrapped their arms and prayers around us, she added, and continued to provide us with support as we walk this road nobody ever wants to walk. Alongside her message, the 33-year-old, who shares sons Israel, 9, Samuel, 7, and Frederick, 2, with Derek, posted photos from the day, including one of her in a hospital gown alongside her husband of 10 years, as well as a peek at the pink outfit they put on Isla. In an additional post, Jill shared a snap of her late daughter's stillbirth certificate, noting that she and Derek, 36, were born at the same time, just 10 days apart. She added, "Such a special connection." The former reality star first shared the update on Instagram in April 2024, writing, "It is with heavy hearts that we announce the stillbirth of our beautiful baby girl. From the moment we found out we were pregnant, we couldn't wait to meet our baby," the caption continued. Isla was much loved from the start, and her 3 big brothers were so excited to introduce her to their world. "We appreciate your prayers as we continue to grieve and heal from the loss of our little Isla Marie." And in the time since, Jill has shared glimpses of her pregnancy, including a video of the ultrasound. "1 year ago, I was loving my baby bump, but we hadn't shared to social media yet that we were expecting," she explained on Instagram last month. "I was still pushing past the all-day pregnancy sickness at that point to make it to yet another prenatal appointment, where I was elated to see this sweet little doll dancing and waving at me on the ultrasound screen." She shared that in the days leading up to the anniversary of her loss, she and Derek often talk about their daughter. "Since I didn't get to publicly celebrate the happy moments on here before we were met with sadness," she wrote, "I figured now is still a good time to share with you a little glimpse of the joy she brought our family during her short little life." Jill also reflected on what she believes Isla would be like today. "She'd probably be starting her first swim lessons about now," she added, "and would soon be running and chasing her big brothers all over the place, getting into trouble." For more celebrities who've opened up their fertility journey, read on.